My first ever time in Paris, best thing I saw, not the Eiffel Tower, not the Arc de Triomphe, not the Champs-Elysees. Best thing I saw, in my hotel room, on the telly comes Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, in French. How good is that? L'Empire contre-attaque. It's just awesome. It's like, there's all your favourite characters, but they're all talking the language of love. And it just put this whole new spin on everything I was saying. Like C-3PO and R2-D2 having a fight like they do, but because they're talking the language of romance. It's like they're having this lovers tiff. Like C-3PO's just there going, R2-D2, qu'est-ce que tu vas chercher? Idiot, allez à moi. And little Yoda was there, because he was talking French. It was like he was this sleazy little munchkin, firmly on the ball, just hobbling around, just going, it's not like that. Yes.
What do you wish you could tell your 20-year-old self?
The one big thing that I wish I could tell myself, and it's to do with love as much as it is to do with anything in life, that's thank the wankers. And it's like, thank the cheating mongrel who you caught having dinner with your sister. You know, like, thank the cheating bastard who caused you to be up late at night drinking gin, singing I Will Survive till 3 a.m. sort of thing, you know. Because, like, they're the ones who teach you when you've found Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, you know, and it's the times in your life when you make the horrendous, often hilarious mistakes in hindsight that really teach you when you've found the right thing for you.
But the point is that it's just inevitable. You can't get away from it. So there's no point whinging about the unfairness of it. You know, when I was young again, I'd always be whinging about, oh, God, I've just got everything set up now, it's all changed again, it's not fair. Why does life never work out just as I plan it? Not fair. Of course it's not fair. Life isn't fair. The world isn't fair. Like, if the universe was a fair place, the only time they'd ever let Britney Spears anywhere near a microphone would be to say, price check out 3, lamb mince 1 kilo. Price check out 3.
I don't know, when I read this article, I just say, anybody else just want scientists to shut up? It's like, you know, every 3 weeks they take something away that we really love. Like 3 weeks ago, beer was linked to Alzheimer's. This week it's Black Forest cake is addictive. Like, next week it's going to be, press release, scientists have discovered looking onto a headland at a coastal view can cause cancer. Shut up! You know, the ironies, the horrible ironies, like, it's actually Diabetes Awareness Week this week. There's like 1 million Aussies with diabetes going to open their papers this morning, just go, oh, shut up! Trust your instincts. Julia Morris said it beautifully in my book on love. She said, when you know, you know, and if you don't know, the answer is no. So go for a walk. For me, it's the beach. Go for a walk somewhere, get a bit of peace, and just ask your gut when you're faced with one of those difficult decisions, like whether to go for a new role at work here or whatever it could be. Ask your gut. 9 times out of 10, it'll give you the right answer. A mate of mine, Sean Richards, had a thing where he didn't trust his gut. Sean Richards is one of those families where everything they do is totally locked in tradition. You know, like they do it that way because they've done it that way for 5 generations. That's families like that. Sean Richards' family, they've had the traditional Richards family Sunday lamb roast every Sunday, 4 o'clock every Sunday for about 30 years. They have like the big afternoon and ends up being a big family occasion. If you're invited, you've got to get there bang on at 2 o'clock. To help them make the traditional Richards family Sunday lamb roast marinade, which everyone does together. And anyway, Sean Richards married a girl called Sophie. In Sophie's family, they had a tradition where the firstborn male child in every generation was called Richard. Now, Sean Richards didn't want to call his son Richard. But he was so intent, his gut was screaming at him, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But he's so intent on getting the lamb roast up that he gave in. And little Richie Richards was born. Richie Richards. And it's quite a cool name when you're in primary school. You know, little Richie Richards running around. First day of big school, he came home in floods of tears, absolute floods of, I'm not going back to big school, Mum and Dad. And they're like, oh, what is it, mate? What is it? What's happened? What's going on? They're like, I can't go back to big school. They're like, what is it? Is it the homework? Is it so much work? Like, I can't go back. Like, what is it? Tell us. They call me Double Dicker.
The best-selling author is with me in the studio. Marty, good morning.
Morning, mate.
The book follows the story of handyman Dave. He does some work for a young entrepreneur and innocently thinks she shares his passion for sport, DIY and gardening. Now, Can you give us a bit of a reading, a bit of a taste of?
Sure.
of
I
what
guess
it is?
the setup is that Christina is desperately trying to talk him into bed, throwing out hints. Some of them a bit subtle, some of them not quite so subtle. And he being a typical Aussie bloke, is an idiot and just will not ever get any hints. So here's Dave.
So you're sort of squaring the gender ledger.
Squaring the ledger for the fellas, yes.
Right, okay.
So, more pain, Dave. Hurt me bad, implored Christina. Dave didn't say a word. He let out a huge sigh, then put on the DVD highlights of the 2005 Ashes series.
I love it now.
When I was a pharmacist, this guy was prescribed some asthma spray because he was allergic to his cats. He came back a week later, says, nothing, doesn't do anything, useless. Found out he'd been spraying it on his cats. Another time, this lady was prescribed estrogen patches. Put one on every other day. About 2 months later, she came back for the repeat. She says, I've run out of room. I said, what do you mean? She pulled it like this. About 40 patches on her back. There's bigger idiots than you out there, trust me. We all have these massive defences that we put up when someone tries to tell us how to live our life. We're quite open to being coached on tennis or, coached on work-related things. But when someone says, this is how you should live your life, it was, no, wait a minute. And so I think that we had this fantastic quote on my blog the other day that really explains for me why the really dorky photos work. This young girl, I'll say it right, she said, when someone with grey hair offers me advice, I dismiss it out of hand. But when I can see a photo of them at the same age and they were just as big a goober as I am, then they're just someone who's lived a bit more and learnt a bit more than me. And so I can take advice from them.
We love that. Marty Wilson, can you stick with us?
Yeah, sure.
We want to talk to you a little bit more. And good news, everyone in the Circle audience today will get a copy of the book.
But he has discovered this one technique, and you guys can try it at home. I'm telling you about it because it's funny. If you're about to go on a road rage home, you can go nuts, abuse whoever you want, but you have to do it using old Broadway show tunes. And it works a treat, because there's only so aggro you can get when you're in the car by yourself. Saying, there's no dickhead like you, dickhead like no dickhead like no. He demonstrated it for me. We were driving along, and this bloke in a Range Rover cut us up. Those typical inner city rich buggers who buys the Range Rover so they can successfully navigate those treacherous leafy avenues of Mossman. I'm guessing there's a few here today. Oh bother, love it. Simply murderous pothole in Lower Pumpernickel Mews. I thought this mate of mine was going to go nuts, but he's just calmly got out of the car, looked across at me and just said, West Side Story. He's gone up the bloke, I swear, middle of Mossman, middle of the day like this, he's going. You make me sick in your four-wheel drive, dressed like a dick in your four-wheel drive, country road shirt in your four-wheel drive, but don't get no dirt on your four-wheel drive. I thought to myself, I can do that. I was practising at home, biding my time. About 2 weeks later, driving the little boring man's Camry that I've got over here, and this guy in a Saab just jams the brakes on the front of me, almost ran up his butt. My mate thinks I'm going to go crazy. I've been rehearsing. I just calmly get out of the car, look across at him, and just say, Sound of Music. And I start walking up the guy in the Saab, going, bastards in Bentleys and cretins in Calais, ducking and weaving and barging in my way, driving like dickheads and cutting in front, just like old Saab drivers. You are a huge Tom in who.